Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at free-to-play physical Recoome, and obviously I did a video on this guy a while back, but I have him at link level 10, so I thought it'd be super interesting to see just how good he is as a unit. So I think this guy is pretty exciting. I've used him for a ton of super hard content, which is kind of why I wanted to highlight him, and he's just a really fun, really awesome unit to use, at least for me. I think he's great. I think he's really solid. I've used him in a ton of red zone, so yeah, basically he just looks really solid. So if we take a look at Recoome, obviously he is a physical type unit. He leads Terrifying Conquerors of 77% and physical type of 50%, but this isn't too crazy. He greatly raises attack for one turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy, and greatly lowers defense, whilst also having attack and defense of 120%. He receives attack and defense of 30% with each attack received up to 120% max, and he has a high chance of guarding all attacks when there's another Ginyu Force category ally on the team. So pretty good. Link skills are Ginyu Force, Signature Pose, Brutal Beatdown, Tough as Nails, Infighter, and Shattering the Limit. And he's on Planet Namek Saga, Ginyu Force, Dragon Ball Seekers, Terrifying Conquerors, Special Pose, and Space Traveling Warriors. Now the one really cool thing about Recoome is he's obviously got a really good built-in team in the form of the Ginyu Force, who has a ton of great free-to-play options. And we actually have a really good support unit in the form of the free-to-play physical Nappa. So you actually have some pretty cool, interesting options to kind of run here when you look at Recoome as a unit. Now obviously the very important thing to using Recoome is to have a Ginyu Force category ally on the team. Now the thing is, to have one Ginyu Force category ally on the team is really not that hard. There's plenty of great options to choose from, which means that Recoome is pretty malleable within his categories. You don't need to run him on a full Ginyu Force team to get the benefit of him. Now of course it's only a 50% chance to guard, but 50% chance to guard is honestly not that bad. Yeah, it's basically a flip of the coin, but the thing is Recoome's defense gets pretty high even without like factoring in the whole guard mechanic and everything like that. His defense gets quite high. Like he, like looks really good. Yeah, I think his defense gets to an incredibly solid point. I think he has a very ease of use passive. In terms of build, you do want to go for a crit, so you do want to build a majority crit. Main reason being is greatly raising attack isn't a huge thing, and having crits on his decent attack stats of like 4 or so million is pretty good. So here we've got a pretty nice situation actually for him. So bit of support, 162k. He hasn't taken that many attacks, so really not anything too crazy. We're just going to try and avoid some supers with Captain Ginyu here, because we want Recoome to take more attacks. We want to see what he's like with more build up. We don't want to see him just the way he is. We want to see him hopefully at fully built up. So that's the goal. Now that's a lot easier to achieve in harder content. Now the thing is, Recoome's starting defense is not insane, and you can't raise it on a super. So one thing I will mention is that Recoome, especially in harder content, if his guard doesn't proc, he can take a little bit of damage in the beginning, but generally if his guard procs, his starting defense is fine. For most content, he'll be fine. I like him in a lot of positions because it's a chance to guard. Generally it's a bit riskier to keep him on main rotation, but if you're willing to take the gamble, you can complete a lot of item runs if you back his guard to proc. Now of course, if we look at Recoome here in this situation, this is his perfect, well pretty close to perfect situation. 266k defense, very good. We have Tough as Nails active, which is a huge link defensively for him, and this is probably the only shame, is that right now there's not a big Tough as Nails link activator on his Ginyu Force team. There's some solid options in the Terrifying Conquerors, but there's not a crazy option under the Ginyu Force team. That doesn't diminish him too much, like I said. Fortunately, he doesn't need a Ginyu Force unit in the same rotation, he just needs them on the team. but it's a big link for him. 3.7 or 3 million or so, really solid. 266k defense, which would have gone up, by the way, after his hit there. So we're now bordering into the 300k mark, which is starting to look very impressive. So again, like I said, Recoome is just a very solid unit. He's a unit that has incredibly, simple mechanisms. He's incredibly ease of use friendly. He's not someone, that's like, I think he's just easy to use. But yeah, I think as a unit he's really good, and yeah, I just like him. I've used him for so much hard content because of just how high his defense can go, guard, all these things make him really solid. I mean, you look here, he's gonna have tough as nails active, which is big for him, but over 300k defense is a free-to-play unit, and I believe he still has one more attack to go, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. It's really solid. I mean, this is a free-to-play unit. Now, of course, we have to measure, does link leveling help him? So did we link level with reason? Well, yes. Tough as nails gives him 5% damage reduction, which is pretty big, and 5% defense. Signature pose gives him some more attack and ki, which is not major. Ginyu force gives him critical hit, which does help out. And sharing the limit gives him attack and defense of 5%. So there was some merit to link leveling him. I wouldn't say there was a huge amount. If he had Thirst or Conquest, which would have been really cool, I think then it would have been way more kind of beneficial. But generally speaking, he still does gain from the link leveling, far more in the form of offense. 7% attack from signature pose, 5% attack from sharing the limit, 5% attack from infighter, 5% from brutal beatdown, 5% crit chance. So definitely more offensively orientated than anything else, but still a quite solid, like play here. We're quite good on where we're looking at in terms of play and presentation and just general ease of use. Like, I think when you look at him as a unit, I just don't find anything that complicated, that insane about him. You don't need to think too hard. There's plenty of great free-to-play options. You've got the physical Nappa that we saw there, who's a great unit to run with him. You've got the whole Ginyu Force options, the physical one. You've got the Tech Gildo, who shares 4 links with him, who's a solid option for SBR and ESBR. You have a lot. You just have a lot going on. You don't need to be so pedantic about him. He's easy to use and he can run the hard content. This is a unit that can tank red zone supers if his guard procs. That's insane. That is an insane capability. So yeah, you will take damage, of course. He's not going to tank them for single digits or anything, but it's insane that there's a free-to-play unit that can handle red zone defensively with, I don't want to say ease, but with relative consistency. Because even when his defense doesn't proc, guard doesn't proc, he doesn't take too much damage unless it's type disadvantage. Because he, as you saw, he has almost 400k defense anyway. So very good unit. Honestly, for me, a ton of fun. I love this guy. He's got great free-to-play options. He's really fun on a Terrifying Conquerors team. Really good for hard content, and you should definitely give him a try. But that's it for me. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, bye.